So this is an in-box review of a slightly different subject here. It's a resin kit by company SBS Models, who are based in Hungary. And it's of the British aircraft, the Miles M.2H Hawk Major. And this is a set that they've released which is specific to Spanish Civil War versions of the aircraft. The company that's making these, it's a different product line. It's called Plastic Passion, but that's got nothing to do with what's inside. It is, as it says here, a limited edition resin kit in 1/72 scale. So on opening the sturdy box, we've got a well-packaged kit here, and as I've just said, it is resin, so we'll get all the parts out. It's a little bit different if you're not used to a resin kit. So we'll get the box out of the way. Now, I would say, I'm trying not to say even, that it's a short run kit, because it's not really. It's nothing like that. It's actually a very it is a limited run kit, but the quality is very high. So with short run plastic kits from places like Special Hobby, RS Models, Azure Models, things like that, the quality is lessened from the fact of it being a very unusual subject. But when it's cast in resin, you usually find the detail it's almost the opposite. The detail's very much there, but you pay for it. So this is quite an expensive kit for a 1/72 plane, and it's quite a small plane. Very nicely, this is something that you do get, especially with SBS models. They're sort of how would I describe it? The higher level of resin kits. So you're not going to get any real major problems like you might get on some lesser known resin kits. But again, like I said, it's reflected in the price. So you get a nice amount of information here on the specific aircraft. So you've got it on the Hawk Major. So you've got a generic paragraph there describing telling you about the aircraft. Then we've got a specific information based on the aircraft that's modelled in this kit. And then we go in with assembly tips. And obviously, this being resin, we're looking at CA glue, so super glue. And I would advise a sort of slower drying super glue, so you've got a bit of time to position it and then use accelerator to set it off. And that's pretty much what they run through in here. Looking at the instructions and the way the kit comes together, we've got coloured instructions, which is very useful. And it's showing you the paint here, and we're using generic colours, so we're not using specific colour brands, which is very useful really. And here we've got, so it's calling out grey-green, which is pretty much like the British interior green, which makes sense. And the cockpit comes together with the 2 seats, 2 control sticks, rudder pedals, and that's all on a cockpit floor. Then we seal it in with the roof of the cockpit and the top of the fuselage, and then the engine cowling is going on there as well, ready for the propeller. Then the wings come on as a butt join, the wheel spats go on as a butt join, and then the whole tailplane assembly goes on the rear as well, and that completes instruction. So that completes construction. So as you see here, we've literally got 4 steps, and that's how it's built. I'm imagining once it's cleaned up, it's going to be quite a easy kit to get together. And here are our marking options. So it's all Spanish nationalist markings. Based in so we got one in 1936, and this is pilot Jose Adriano Piquito Rebelo, and that's my best attempt at that. And something interesting that we've got here is a special decal, which is shown here, and it's a silk printed decal, and that is of a map that gets placed onto the wing, and I've got some reference of this. So if any of you are interested in this aircraft and learning more about it, or getting some of the reference pictures, I do have a copy of an article in French, I believe. So if you email, I'll put my email in the description for the SIG, because this is obviously based on the Spanish Civil War SIG. And if you would like to see that information, see some of the reference pictures, by all means, just email me, and I can let you see that. I may also put it as part of a blog post as well, I'm not sure yet. So here we go. So what they actually did is attach the map on the wing, so as they're flying along they can look out and see the map on the wing there. So we've got a very normal kind of scheme here, which is pretty much ROM 63, I'm guessing, or some sort of medium grey. And then we've got a nicer option, which is probably the one I'll be going for here, which is a 1939 one, same pilot, and then we've got the map there, but with some nice I do like these sort of markings, these large letters with identification markings. I don't know why, it appeals to me. So reasonably easy scheme there, and that's the one that we've got here a picture of as well, which is very useful to use. So that's the instructions. Then we're looking at the decals, which are printed really well. This is printed by the same company, so register wise they're absolutely cracking. We do have quite large carrier film in between the letters here, which is obviously a given. It may well disappear when you get it down, or you may want to cut around that. There's hardly any carrier film around these big crosses and the roundels. It's just where they're trying to keep the lettering together. So that's very nice. Then we've got the other decal, which is the silk printed decal, that meaning it's not pre-cut, so therefore you've got to cut around that very carefully, and it's specially printed to sort of reflect what it's meant to be, which is a highly printed and very good resolution map of Spain there. I can't really get in any closer, but you have to take my word. That is, I wonder if you got a magnifying glass you could probably read that. So that's very useful, and that goes on the wing, as I said, and the pilots look out at that as they're flying along. Then we've got two options for windscreens. So you've got this acetate sheet here, which you can cut out and bend, and you've got the two types. I believe we're only using these in this kit. And then you've got the backs of the instrument panels there, so you paint this white. We paint that side white and glue it on that side. So then we've got a slightly different way of doing it, which is pre-cut and pre-scored. So you just have to bend that, but you don't have the black outline. So that may be a way you'd want to go on that as well. Then on to the bags of resin. So you get these nicely packaged in two separate bags here, and in this bag we've got the two wings and the fuselage. Now instantly you may be able to see what's different to plastic kits is the construction phase. So we're not going to have any seam line to worry about here. We've got butt joints, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be okay. If not, you could drill some small holes and get some tubing in there just to strengthen that if you wanted to, but it's probably going to be okay like that. And then we've got the casting block. So what you want to do here is just lightly score along there with a knife or using a razor saw, or whatever you do. You want to just be methodical, not rush it, and just get a nice clean line there and cut through that casting block. Then you sand that back, and then you're ready with the fuselage. Same applies with these wings. One thing you've got to look for with resin is warping and air bubbles. So if this was warped, you may sometimes get it twisted, so it might go, you know, twist or whatever. And as you can see, these are absolutely perfect, I would say. Very well detailed. I can't see any marks on the surface. I can't see any blemishes. It's casted lovely. The panel lines are very nicely done. And it's a very thin at the rear edge of the wing there, very thin. I hesitate to use the word scale thickness, but it's extremely thin. Certainly will pass as far as this is concerned. And as is part of the aircraft, we've got a slight sweep there as well, so that's nice. Then we've got the other wing, and just a quick inspection. Everything seems the same there. Yeah, it's very nicely done. And again, dead straight. Obviously taken into account the sweep. And the same in the fuselage. So we've got a little bit of cockpit detail on the sidewalls here, already cast in there. And then we're going to drop a floor in there, which has the other details, including the seats. We've got it's almost like very similar to a Tiger Moth, the fuselage shape, and pretty much the same engine. Yeah, I can't see any problems there at all. If you do get the odd air bubble, it's not really, I mean, if you get a massive problem, then you can contact the company and they're quite happy to send you a replacement. But if you just get small blemishes or small little air holes, they're very easy to feel. But there isn't actually any on this. So that's very nice. That's the first bit. Then we've got a second bag, which has all the other bits. So this has got a few of the smaller bits as well. It may seem a bit worrying to see it all packaged in a bag like this, but it's generally pretty tough when it's on the casting block, and usually you have these protectors. So where you've got these small parts here, you've got, that's meant to take the hit before these parts. So you've got the control sticks there, and I think part of the exhaust. And there, I mean, you know, that speaks for itself. They're very, very fine, extremely good, and this is the sort of thing you just can't really get from plastic very easily. Then we've got the horizontal stabilisers there, which again, they look, I don't think there's any warping there. It's the casting blocks twisted, but the actual piece is fine. So that's nice. Then we've got, this is the exhaust, so that other piece might be something else. And that's very nicely done again, and hollowed out on the end. So this again is what you get from high quality resin pieces like this. And I think you'll find, you'll probably agree as we're going through this, the kit is just oozing quality. I mean, even to this point here on the rear of these spats, you've got this riveted plate there. It's extremely fine, and it does have recessed rivets. It's just a sort of flange running off the back there. Very nicely done. And then the thinness of the actual internal area of the spats, all absolutely perfect. And again, no troublesome clean up on the front here or on the back where you have to join these two bits together because it's already done. You just need to get them off the block. Then we've got the roof of the cockpit, or the top of the fuselage, with the cutouts there as well. Now they are just filmed over slightly, so you just have to cut that out, but that's very, very thin. It's almost like flash if you want. And again, yeah, very nice. No air bubbles or anything like that, or warpage. It's quite straight down there. Of course, you've got to watch out if you did have warping, you'll find that it won't fit so well here, but hopefully with a little bit of clean up just there at the back, it does fit quite well. You've got this door here that's cast into it, so you just need to eliminate that as a seam line, and again through these doors as well. So that's that. Then we've got the fin and the rudder. Very nice details all over that. Again, you know, I'm using the same words here, it's because it is extremely well done. There's the cockpit floor, and that's obviously quite plain, but that's just the way it is. And then we've got the two seats with harnesses cast on them. So again, very useful stuff. Then we've got the front there of the engine, the iconic engine that all the de Havilland Gypsy Moth, well, it's a Gypsy engine, so it's any of those type of aircraft have this iconic front here. That's nicely done. Then we've got two sets of wheels. I think we're only using one type. I think this might be two different types. Not sure. I can't see really any differences there whatsoever. So I don't know why we've got two blocks there. That may become apparent. It might be this piece here that we need. So just giving you two lots. And that's certainly a set of spare wheels there by the looks of it. Then we got the propeller, which is almost sharp. It's so thin. It's brilliantly done. Wonderful piece that is. And then we've got the instrument panels, which are recessed there. So you just drill those out, and then you can attach the clear parts to the back of them, and that will show the dials through. In fact, that might just be flash once you get it off there, and it will almost poke through, but just drilling it out will get you where you want to be. So that is a quick look in the box there of the Miles M.2H Hawk Major in Spanish Civil War markings by SBS Models. A nice kit. A very nice kit in fact, and a resin kit, so a little bit different. And if you fancy having a go at this lovely aircraft and you want to try it out, there are two other marking options I believe in this set, and it's well worth a go, and it will make for a very interesting model. So hopefully you like that review, and If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel, give the video a like, and I'll see you in the next video.